Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of Should You Pull for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. Now today we're going to be discussing Leon's banner and the return of Leon and his EX weapon, which is an extremely unique piece of gear that does things that no other character as of yet can do. And he works in such a way that, honestly, even if you don't plan on pulling him completely and utterly, he's definitely at least worth looking at for certain reasons, which I'll go into in great detail. He arrives on the banner along with Firion and Snow, who unfortunately do not come with EX weapons, and this is one of the last times we'll see a single EX weapon turn up on a banner before EX Plus and Chaos and everything turns up in a few weeks. So we are waiting with a bated breath to see what the community stream is going to be this evening, or this evening for us in the UK anyway, to see what we're going to be getting over the next few weeks, because we know that with the JP timeline that Chaos and EX Plus should be coming within like a week or two. So it shouldn't be long now before we see what comes out of that. But with Leon not even having an EX Plus as of yet in JP, is his banner worth looking at? So if you want to find out more about Leon and his very unique kit, stay tuned and keep on watching. Before we get started, don't forget to check out all of the social media, just links in the description box below, which include my Facebook, my Twitter, my Twitch, which you can see the schedule for on the right hand side here, and my Discord, and all sorts of other things that you can use to either get into contact with me or join the ever-growing community that we have on these pages. Before I get started on the actual video itself, I do want to announce the winner for the Sephiroth Portray giveaway that I started doing a little while ago to celebrate the fact that the channel had hit over 1 million views, and I'm very pleased to announce that Kenneth Zelgert, who lives in Germany, is going to be the winner of the portrait. So congratulations to you. Be sure to get in touch either through Facebook or Discord or any of the other means in order to get into contact with me so that I'm then able to send you the Sephiroth portrait. And obviously don't forget to check out DissidiaDB.com in order to check out all the resources available that they have to offer for Dissidia Opera Omnia. They're a fantastic website and I've used them for so long now. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me saying these same things. And of course don't forget to check out all of the other Opera Omnia content creators that there are out there. Every single one of us appreciates your likes, your subscribes, and hitting the notification bell. Now unfortunately, not having an EX weapon on a banner at this point in time is pretty much a dead cert now that you're not going to be pulling on a banner for that particular character. With Aphmau having been and gone, and her being the last character that's released without an EX weapon in order to kind of make it easier for people to get into the game and such, from this point onwards, if you're well established in the game, you're going to want to be pulling for an EX weapon. So in the case of Firion and Snow, these two are not the reasons that you're going to be pulling on this banner. Firion isn't bad without his EX. He's not fantastic either. He's usable, but certainly going into higher difficulties and stuff, you absolutely need to have EX weapons pretty much on your entire party, certainly from this point onwards. Now the main interest in Leon Hart's kit actually comes from his EX weapon, and I'll go into that in a little while, but he has actually seen quite a heavy overhaul and rework that actually makes the rest of his kit quite interesting as well. I actually pulled for Leon the first time around, and he was pretty good then for a character that came out just before EX weapons did, and he's got quite a rework. So basically the gimmick with Leon's skills is that he wants to be on as high HP as possible before he uses his skills, and he also wants to hit his bravery cap or overflow it even better in order for him to gain a specific framed buff. Now that buff is Dark Knight, which sounds simple. He's actually more like a reverse Dark Knight if you're familiar with the tradition of how a Dark Knight works in Final Fantasy lore. He doesn't lose HP to do stuff. He wants to be at high HP in order to do stuff, which is quite peculiar, and he actually is quite a capable healer as well. So what he does is, his Dark Slash and Dark Bind are AoE attacks with Dark Slash doing 50% splash damage as well as 100% to the target, and then he'll also get debuffs based on that. He inflicts sap off of his Dark Bind as well, which also has a decent amount of splash damage as well. Like it's something that hits all enemies, which is useful. All of his skills AoE, which is fantastic. Dark Slash and Dark Bind will then give Leon a framed buff, which is Dark Knight, which has up to 3 stacks depending on how much bravery he had when he inflicted the damage. So if it was less than 75% max bravery, he gets 1 stack. Between 75 and 99% max bravery, he gets 2. And if he goes 100% or he goes into his Brave Overflow, 150% for Dark Slash, 120% for Dark Bind, then he gets all 3. And this increases his attack and his max bravery by 10 and 20% respectively per stack. So if you're hitting your bravery cap or more, you're getting plus 30% attack and 60% max bravery on a framed buff, which also helps him to get other stuff on his skills as well. So you really want to be pairing him up with somebody who can brave battery for him in an efficient manner so that he's always hitting over his cap where possible. But his attack is actually really high, so it's not difficult for him to do that. And while he has the Dark Knight buff active, and as I said, this affects his skills directly as well, he also gets Dark Slash Plus and Dark Bind Plus as long as his HP is over 80% and as long as he has the Dark Knight buff active. And while Dark Slash is Dark Slash Plus, it's just a much stronger attack so that it gets up to 150% max overflow on your bravery, which is really good. It hits 4 times as well as Dark Slash or Dark Slash Plus, so it really does. If your attack is really high, you're dealing sort of 25 to 35,000 damage with that alone and getting splash damage for the trouble. And then Dark Bind as Dark Bind Plus also gives, that also can go up to 150% max bravery if you've got the plus version of it. It also gives you a Brave Attack Plus, which is fantastic, and then you also have Brave Attack Plus Plus if you've already got at least 80% HP, as well as the Dark Knight buff. You do actually get an HP attack plus and plus plus in a similar fashion, but that comes on his EX weapon. Dark Bind actually can also heal himself and his party members depending on whether he has his 35 CP weapon or not. And that's actually a really nice thing to have, just because his kit revolves around him being at high HP. So if you want to be able to do that, then having the Sleep Sword to give a decent amount of healing off of him, and any excess healing that he gets, he gives to his party members, which is really useful. You also get sap off of it, so you get a nice little extra sort of safety net when it comes to bravery or HP attacking with him, because you'll get some of that back and refunded when it comes to their turn. He's got a really sort of quirky and strong kit. It's actually quite simple, in all honesty. It's just damage and keeping his health up, and it's high damage that has splash damage and little extra effects on top of it. But this isn't actually what makes him interesting. What makes Leon interesting is his EX weapon. Leon's kit, before we go into the EX weapon, actually revolves entirely around the Dark element as well, and his Crystal 65 active skill reflects that by giving Dark Enchant for 2 turns. So he then makes it so that he can do dark damage with his HP and his Brave Attack Plus and Plus Plus as well. If you get the passive for it at level 70, it also adds a max bravery overflow limit plus to it, which is actually a really nice thing to have on anybody. And if you get the Bloomstone for it, it just makes it so you can use it more, that's a good reason to get a Bloomstone, and it lasts for a little bit longer. But obviously his skills themselves are dark attacks, so you do need to bear in mind that if a boss or enemy resists dark, then Leon may not be the best character for that situation. Now, Leon's EX weapon and the EX skill that comes with it, Dark Stream, looks like not much when you look at it from this page, but it's a 4-hit dark AoE Brave HP attack that deals 100% HP damage to all enemies, immediately useful. Normal recast rate, so every 2 to 3 turns after you've used it once, you'll be able to use it again. And while Dark Knight is active and HP is above 80%, it turns into Dark Stream Plus, which I'll get to in just a moment, and that's where it gets really interesting. But the limit break abilities you get from it are the simple, more brave damage from the ability, slightly faster recast rate. You get more max bravery and attack, which is never unwelcome, and you also get the aforementioned HP attack plus and HP attack plus plus as long as you have Dark Knight active and over 80% of your max health, which does a 2-hit melee brave HP attack, which does decent damage, and it restores some of your health as well. But Dark Stream Plus gives a special framed buff called Dark Knight's Pride. Now what this does is it turns all non-elemental bravery attacks from your enemies into dark attacks, and all of your party gets Dark Absorb. So basically, bravery damage no longer means anything to you as long as your opponent is using non-elemental attacks. So realistically, you can't take damage while you've got this active. If you take, say, Leon and Setzer or Kefka or somebody that can nullify HP attacks in some way or another, you literally become invincible. Like, it becomes extremely hard to die because you can't take bravery damage. And as long as you're keeping this buff up and you're keeping Leon's HP high so that he's always able to use Dark Stream Plus instead of Dark Stream, you will never take HP or bravery damage. So this sounds completely busted. And Mechanically, it is. But you do also have to realise that once Chaos and EX Plus starts becoming a thing and Chaos difficulty is a thing, Leon's stats may not be up there with a lot of characters that have their EX Plus weapons after the first few weeks. So yes, fundamentally, Leon EX is completely and utterly broken. It's not even fair. And it does trivialise a lot of harder fights in a very, very spectacular fashion. Because if all of their attacks are non-elemental, you just don't take bravery damage anymore. In fact, you absorb it and you make your own bravery attack stronger. It's insane. But you only have a certain number of skill uses. Darkstream doesn't recover your skill uses, and if your attack isn't high, and believe me, when Chaos difficulty comes, provided they leave it the same way they had it in JP, you're just not gonna deal enough damage, and you still have a turn count you have to worry about. You still have to actually kill your opponent. So he's very good for a while. Like, I mean, right now, as of this moment of this video, Leon is busted. Like, he's ridiculous. Most fights you will just never have to worry about losing, and his damage is high enough that he'll be able to, get the job done. But as time progresses, he's going to get weaker and weaker and weaker, because he doesn't have an EX+. He still doesn't have one in JP. So while he looks extremely enticing, and honestly, if you were to pull on this banner, I wouldn't blame you for it, because Leon is really quite exceptional. He's not the be-all and end-all that he makes himself look like he is. He'll be really, really powerful for a while, and if you pair him up with strong units with strong debuffs, so Sarah is a great unit to go with him, Warrior of Light to keep people away from him and help him with his HP recovery will be really helpful to him. He'll always be able to keep that Dark Stream up. And that, in and of itself, is at the very least worth looking at. As I said earlier, Leon's EX weapon doesn't actually return at all, as far as I can see, throughout the course of the JP era even, though I imagine he'll get an EX Plus fairly soon because it's coming up to a similar sort of time in the timeline to where he got it, well, where he's getting it now for us in Global. But Firion and Snow weapons, if you pick them up, you don't necessarily have to sell them off if you get their passive abilities while pulling for Leon. Firion will come back quite a few times, and he'll come back with Emperor, which is a really nice banner for him to come back on. And Snow actually becomes really, really powerful when Sync's Lost Chapter banner comes back around, and he actually becomes one of the best tanks in the game. And he's one of the characters that goes from nothing to massive very quickly. So you can never write off these characters. So if you did pull on this banner for Leon, getting Firion and Snow's weapons isn't the end of the world. It's not like you're going to go in with a GPX and you're quite safe to pull on this banner, provided you're not saving your resources for other things. Big shout out to Inkwelder, Dreamy and the Tombury Troop for providing Leon's infographic here, so you're welcome to have a look through this and check out all of the different things that Leon can do. Very, very useful infographic as always. Much of the same things here have been said as what I've said earlier, and then the artifacts, you basically just want damage and max bravery, because he hits really hard for late EX era, so he's going to cap out his damage very quickly, and if you want him to last as long as possible, then you want his attack to be as high as possible so that your opponent's rising defenses over the course of Chaos difficulty don't ruin him too heavily. And it does say, it's he trivialises quests versus non-elemental bosses because they just can't hit you, they just can't do anything, even in Chaos fights. But you obviously need to back him up with the damage to actually finish that fight. He will buff and aura his max bravery because he caps on attacks very frequently, and he doesn't have the biggest amount of max bravery compared to certain other characters, but he has a serviceable amount. His splash and AoE skills are really good in multiple boss quests. Well, I mean, that goes without saying. Having AoE damage, particularly 100% full AoE damage on EX is amazing, and you can't get enough characters that do that. And Dark Absorb benefits characters that like Battery for their HP pluses. Somebody like Aerith would work very nicely here. If you have Aerith EX, then these two work very, very nicely together because you get more Brave Overflow from her EX. She heals. Those two actually work extremely well together. So maybe if you have Aerith and Leon as a character, worth considering for you. As a mixed attacker, he is hurt by melee, magic, and dark resistance. I didn't actually touch on the fact that he is a mixed attacker because he has magic and melee damage. Dark Bind being magic, Dark Stream being magic, Dark Slash being physical. Any resistance could just kind of ruin Leon, so you do have to bear in mind. And you've got to max out his limit break, or you've got to max out his EX weapon. But to be honest, if you're pulling for an EX weapon, you should really be maxing anybody's out. So he is a really strong character, but there are caveats to him. So ultimately, do I think that Leon's Lost Chapter banner is a good banner for you to pull on? Yes, I do. Leon is an exceptionally strong character for this point in time, but there is a lot of content coming out over the next few weeks that we need to be worrying about. There are characters that will last for a much greater period of time. EX Plus and Chaos difficulty is literally around the corner at this point, and Leon will last for a while, and there are certain bosses that you'll bring him back into, so yes, I do think he's a really good character, but you just have to be careful with your resources at this point. Would I pity Leon? Probably not. Would I spend tickets and maybe the odd gem pull or something like that on him? Yeah. But with Charlotta coming out, and there could be an unknown thing that happens between now and EX Plus as well. We haven't had Beatrix's Lost Chapter yet, and there might be something happening with her. There's a lot of surprises that could happen over the course of the next couple of weeks. So, but bearing in mind that this video is being released before the community stream, if you're coming and watching this after the community stream, then hopefully you'll be able to regulate a more efficient kind of opinion on whether you should pull for Leon or not. I think Leon is a fantastic character. He's flown under the radar for good reason, because he doesn't last as long as a lot of other characters do. And when EX Plus does come around, I'm actually going to have to change the way I structure these videos, because honestly there are very few, if any, outright bad characters on EX Plus. So the strategy for Should You Pull may have to change slightly, but as of right now we're still on a single EX banner with, albeit a very strong EX, and if you get it, fantastic, you're going to use it a lot for a fair while. Charlotta's coming, Artemisia's coming, Garland, you want to make sure you have Cloud and Warrior of Light in early Chaos era. There's a lot of banners coming up, so just, yes, this banner is worth pulling on, for sure, if you have the resources to do so. So just maybe don't shotgun, pull everything on Leon the first day he comes out. Wait and see what information we have, wait and see what resources some of the more prevalent characters take up from you. The way that I'm going to be doing it is, I plan to pull for Charlotta. I'll spoil that video for you now. But if she's nice to me, I will then go back and pull for Leon if the banner's still live when she comes out, which in theory it should be. So just plan ahead. Don't just go straight in for Leon, but he is an extremely good character. So basically, just consolidating everything into one word, yes, this banner is very good. So that's going to be it from me today. I am actually going to be posting another video very, very soon to do with the community stream, so do bear in mind any information that is presented in the community stream obviously doesn't reflect this video, because this video was released before it happened. But I will obviously be releasing that as soon as I can after the community stream has ended, so that you guys can get a good idea of what's to come in the coming month, what we can expect. Hopefully we'll get some really good information about Chaos, EX Plus, Charlotta, which a lot of people are really excited about, and I'm personally hoping for some Beatrix love. But that's going to be it from me. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.